If you're suffering from a stiff and tight lower back, your natural inclination is probably to stretch it out, but this is doing more harm than good. In this video, I'm going to teach you why that is and what you should do instead to relieve that stiffness and tightness in the low back. Hello, welcome. Coach E here from Precision Movement. And you're here because you're suffering from or you suffer from a tight lower back. If you go and search here on YouTube, search for tight lower back and exercises, inevitably you're going to find a lot of videos promoting various stretches, whether it's touching your toes, twisting around, side bending, lots of different stretches for those tight muscles. Unfortunately, this is one of the issues with YouTube, is that a lot of times creators will create videos for things that people are searching for. So people think, I got to stretch my tight lower back, but this isn't what you need. And in this video, I'm going to help you to understand exactly why that is. Now, I won't be showing you any exercises in this video, but I will link you to further resources and other videos that we have on YouTube that will help you to relieve that tightness in your lower back right now. Let's get right into it then. Number one, why do we get tight muscles? Why do these erector spinae muscles, which run right around here, or even muscles around the hips, why do they get tight? Well, it starts with a P. And if you said protection, you win the grand prize. The muscles get tight for protection. Your brain sees something going wrong in this area, in your low back, in your lumbar spine, in your SI joint. It sees something wrong and it doesn't want anything to get worse. So what it does is it tightens up the muscles because that prevents movement. And if it prevents movement, you're not going to do anything that could further damage those already damaged or irritated tissues. This is a very, very simple and logical concept, but it's one that people forget if they're going about stretching whenever they feel tightness occur. Point number two, what is stretching doing? I'm giving you a little hint here. Picking a, what is it picking? Stretching is basically picking a scab. This is the perfect analogy. Everybody knows that when you get cut, you get a little scab. And if you've got kids, you know, you got to tell them, stop picking at it. It's not going to heal. The scab is there to protect that wound. It's there to protect it from infection. It's there to allow that area to heal, for the cells to regrow in that broken area so that the tissue can heal. The same thing is happening when you damage, whether it's a ligament, a disc, it could be a muscle, it could be irritation of facet joints. So let's give an example of a disc. And this spine here already has a nice little disc herniation. So let's say you've got a lateral disc herniation like this, and your muscles get tight in response to that damaged tissue. You're thinking, oh, okay, I'm gonna do what I think I should be doing here because my muscles are tight. I'm gonna stretch and I'm gonna do a nice side bend stretch here. And I'm gonna side bend over here. And I'm gonna go back and forth, gonna do 30 seconds on this side, just kind of pull on it. Oh yeah, I get a good stretch right in there, pull on that tissue. And then I'm gonna squeeze it on this side, I'm gonna side bend the other way. I'll get a little twisting going on. You could see how basically we're just irritating that area. We're pulling it, we're tugging on it, we're squeezing it. We're doing things that we shouldn't be doing to a wound. And that's exactly what stretching is doing. It's picking a scab. So now I think that's pretty clear. Tightness is protection. It's protecting damaged tissue. Stretching is countering what your brain is doing to help you to survive, to help you to prevent further damage to your spine. And stretching is picking that scab. So that can prolong the tightness. You might get some acute temporary relief, but that's going to prolong the issue and it could make it worse. So what should you do instead? Point number three, maintain, it's two words here, neutral spine. You've probably heard about this now, I hope, but neutral spine is really important for allowing those tissues to heal. It's avoiding picking the scab. Maintaining a neutral spine can be achieved through a number of different methods, and you have to think of a number of different factors. Number one, your general standing posture. Number two, your sitting posture, how you're sitting. If you've got issues in the posterior aspect of your spine, like your posterior disc, and you're sitting in a slumped posture with your tail tucked under, that's causing further stress on that tissue, something called tissue creep, because you're just sitting there for maybe hours, and that's going to prolong your pain. Now, those are more static positions, postural positions. What about if you have to move? Well, if you have to move, you've got to use other areas. To maintain a neutral spine requires good hip mobility. So you've got to learn how to move using your hips and not rounding your back and not tucking your pelvis under. So if I'm lifting my leg up to go upstairs, but I'm doing this to get it up there because I've never worked my hip flexors and I don't have any good hip flexion range of motion, that's going to put stress on the spine. So hip mobility generally is really important, and maintaining that neutral spine, really key point there, maintaining neutral spine. The last key point here is activating, two words again, your core stabilizers. These are the muscles in and around the abdominals, in and around the spine, and also I include muscles around the hips and the pelvis. Some of the most important muscles for this are the multifidus muscles or multifidi, and these muscles, they span 2 or 3 vertebrae up either side of the spine. And you can see they're considered deep muscles. They're right on the spine. And these are really important for maintaining that stability between each vertebral segment. Opposite to that on the other side is the psoas. The psoas is more on the lumbar spine, whereas the multifidus goes all the way up. The psoas is more focused on the lumbar spine. And classically, we think of it as a hip flexor, but it is really, really critical for maintaining that lumbar stability. So if you think you've got muscles deep here on this side of the spine and this side of the spine, if they're working well, they're keeping this nice and stable. Other muscles, we've got the more superficial muscles like the abdominal muscles, the rectus abdominis. We've got the transverse abdominis, which is a little deeper, and we've got the obliques, which are a little deeper. They're all important as well. But these deep muscles, the multifidus and the psoas, are really critical to that lumbar spine stability and keeping the spine stable so you don't pick a scab every time you move around. So these are the reasons why you've got to stop stretching your tight lower back. The tightness is a good thing. It's protecting that damaged area. Stretching is going to counter the good thing, the protection that you need so that those tissues heal. And to allow the tissues to heal, you've got to learn how to maintain a neutral spine, and you've got to activate those core stabilizers, especially the deep core stabilizers. Like I said earlier, I'm not showing any exercises in this video today. I just wanted you to understand why you've got to stop stretching your tight lower back, or even other muscles, other areas that get tight. Stop stretching them as a response to acute tightness, because that's doing more damage than good. If you got that, let me know. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, or just hit us with the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to our channel to get the truth about what it takes to move freely and without pain for the long term, not just a little bit of temporary relief. And I've got a couple of resources for you. One is a video on posture. 2 is a video showing you exercises for the core stabilizers and to help you maintain a neutral spine. And if you want to go deep with us, get our low back pain solution, because this will progress you through multiple phases, over 30 or 40 exercises in an easy to follow fashion. That takes like 20 minutes a day. So it's very, very doable.